Welcome to FPSA's Meet the Member series. So today we are here with Ross Blanford from MASTERDUCT. Thanks for joining us today, Ross, and for being a supporter of FPSA.
No problem. It's always a pleasure to hang around with the fellow food nerds.
That is exactly who we are. So best description I've heard of us like all day. To start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about what MASTERDUCT does and how your services and products fit into the the equipment chain?
Okay, no problem. A lot of the members of FPSA are selling capital equipment, machines that make different types of food, and our products go along with those to help move ingredients around the facility. MASTERDUCT is a Houston, Texas-based manufacturer of low-pressure hoses and ducting for the food processing industry, and we have more than 22 years' experience. Our products are used to transport air, dust, food ingredients, and other media, and are used in the manufacturing and housekeeping processes within the food processing industry. MASTERDUCT sets ourselves apart from our competitors by working with food processors and their suppliers to visit their facilities and understand the operational and safety challenges that are there and put the right products in place to help solve those.
That's awesome. Getting from one piece of equipment to another is always a challenge. So what operating philosophy was MASTERDUCT built on?
Well, our parent company is based in Gelsenkirchen, Germany, and it was actually formed in the mid-1980s with more of an engineering mindset. At that time, they had more engineers on staff than they had salespeople. And so we come to the material management part of the industry with more of an engineering mindset and not coming at it from let's get something inexpensive from overseas and try to just make it work. The products featured in our North American catalog are made here in Houston, Texas from domestic components. And that's a real difference maker for MASTERDUCT. We don't wait for the slow boat to come in from the Far East. Offer featured and benefit advantages to the food industry that are unique to MASTERDUCT. And our focus is quality products shipped quickly to minimize downtime and safety issues. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in a plant, Heather, and I've looked at the hoses that they were using, and the engineers, the maintenance people, and the safety people all felt like they were doing it the right way, but they just didn't have all the information. And we were able to help solve problems on the spot, out of stock, and get that done quickly.
That's awesome. So when you talk about solving problems, what particular kind of challenges are you addressing there? What exactly are your solutions fixing for people?
Well, I like to call MASTERDUCT the easy button when it comes to hoses and ducting. We make it easy, particularly for plastic hoses that are primarily moving air, dust, and food ingredients. Because in most cases, the equipment that's making those products is made in Europe, and they come with metric inlets, metric ports. And I can't tell you how many times I go into a plant and they say, wow, you guys make metric hoses? I've been looking for months. But everything we make is metric. So we make the fit easy. We offer more than 25 different such products that are all made from FDA food grade compliant material, and they're all static dissipative. Because in the food industry, in the pharma industry, there are very few applications where you're moving a dust or a food ingredient that is not combustible to some degree. And that's the big issue that I see, is that in most plants, the hoses are food grade compliant, but they're not anti-static or static dissipative. So they address one safety issue, but not the other. We make our hoses on equipment from Germany, so we make metric easy, and we have a full selection of sizes in metric from all the way from 26 millimeter all the way up to 600 millimeter. Many times when I'm in food processing facilities, I see products that are not the best choice for the processing environment, or frankly not safe. I see hoses used that are not abrasive resistant enough, so they wear out too quickly. And I also see hoses that are not made of FDA food grade compliant materials. And most importantly, they're not permanently anti-static. And those are three key areas that we help our distributor partners and the manufacturers come together to make sure that the area is as safe as possible. Many maintenance and engineering professionals believe that as long as a hose has a wire in the helix, it's safe for use with combustible dust, and that's not the case. Helix wires can be grounded as a secondary safety option, but if there's no additive in the plastic to prevent the static charge from forming in the first place, then there can always be an explosion, and that's something that nobody wants, and we try to make sure that we avoid at all costs. This is a real safety issue for food processors that can be easily eliminated with a little bit of education and making sure that the product is applied correctly. So that's the big challenge that I think MasterDuct helps solve. We make sure the hoses fit properly. We make sure they're appropriate and safe for the environment. We make sure they're available, and we make sure that they last as long as possible. And those are the boxes that food processors ask us to check on a daily basis.
Those are great boxes. Thank you, Ross, for your time today, and to MasterDuct for being such a great member of FPSA and such a great contributor to the efficiency, functionality, and safety of food processing plants. We really appreciate all the work and all of the time you spend with FPSA.
Absolutely. We'll see everybody in Chicago.